Across the history of mankind, we've always been asking one main question, and we've always been wondering, what is the most realistic football experience other than playing football yourself? You know, actually try to go outside. That. I did a video a year ago going into me playing PES with a realism mod. Me getting PES on PC, me modding the game, and you guys seem to really enjoy that. I wanted to do a video better showcasing what is, in my opinion, the best way to play a football game. Okay, it's not FIFA, okay, surprisingly so. I will talk about FIFA. I think FIFA, oh no, especially as a career mode, you play career mode, I actually think it's a very good, nice and easy way to play a realism type of football game. The gameplay is semi-realistic. It does try to be that kind of style, and an easily accessible, you know, realistic football stadiums in Premier League and in La Liga and in Bundesliga is great as well, because unlike PES, you just play the game on Xbox or PS or PC, and that you just get the game as if it's already modded. But sadly, with PES, you've got to mod the game, which can take a lot of time and effort, and most people just don't understand how to do it. And that is a problem with mods, that most people, it just looks like it's too much effort. That is what it's really worth. But for the people that are true football enthusiasts, that just cannot go night and day without trying this footballing experience that they may think is the next big thing, we have got the examples, and let's get stuck into it. If you guys do enjoy, smash a like button, also subscribe if you're new, and also here's today's sponsor. The cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Go down to u7buy.com, link is down below in description, and make sure to use code Vizeh at checkout for 5% off. Alright lads, and welcome to PES 2021. So of course, this is not eFootball, this is last year's version of PES. However, with the brand new mods of, they're having a brand new kit, so you can see the kits are from this season, and Chelsea shirts, and you can just have a look here at the specific types of different camera angles. Now some people, they can't even see, you know, the difference, that this is actually of a different camera angle. The scoreboards fully customizable, the ad boards fully customizable as well, and there's many areas of breakdown, and number one's just a general feel of realism, the general feel of I am watching a real life game of Arsenal versus Chelsea. And honest to God, for me, and when I look at this, and you know, maybe if you take a bit more of a step back, if you look really close in, you can kind of tell. You can tell the difference between a actual real life game and what you're seeing right here. If you zoom in, you can see the pixels, you can see that it's really a bit too contrast of the colours. But from far away, if I just see a picture, in the first second or so, I will have to double check to see, is this actually of real life? Now, of course, in this current moment, you can see there's a bit of an animation glitch that two players run into each other. But here's a goal here, Aubameyang, and I like the way how the ball reacts with the net, how the players pass one another, how they actually touch the ball. It looks a lot more realistic, and when you play the game, it does feel a lot more slow. And people may not enjoy that, because with FIFA, especially if you are a FIFA player, you may be really into the fast reactive response movement, which isn't realistic. It isn't. And with PES, the one thing that people always say is an issue with PES is the fact that it's too slow, it's too sluggish, and I was part of that group as well. But this is a thing, I can't imagine playing online PES. For me, playing it online, I think I would find it a bit annoying, because the issue with playing against an online person, playing against the AI, is that when you play against online, you always are playing someone that's trying to exploit the game in every way imaginable. That means that they won't be doing things that you would think is realistic, and the AI, typically they do try their best to play it in a more realistic way that would make the more sense, and not in the most exploitive way. But when you play against people online, we've found out on FIFA a lot that with FIFA, people just do the, you know, meta mechanics of skill moves and this type of passing, this type of through ball, and this type of shot, and it makes it seem repetitive, makes it seem boring, because people just don't care about playing football in a footballing way, and just play with what they know will get goals. That's the biggest divide that I can give between the PES community and also the FIFA community. But of course, it's not only Premier League, there's of course every type of league in the world, with all new stadiums, all new, but I'm not like even like a PES person. I play FIFA a lot more than PES, but maybe because I've grown up, maybe because I'm not 23, I've now grown up, and I appreciate this a lot more. I don't really see PES as being like, it is a very niche kind of community in a sense, in comparison to FIFA. But what they do, you know, in their kind of niche community, they do well. They put a lot of time and effort into it. And look at the graphics here. I think this looks better than FIFA, personally. Now, of course, the models and the faces of PES is one thing that people, especially in the FIFA scene, they can't really seem to get over. And of course, with the release of eFootball, it did ruin it, because, I'll be honest, every other person in it PES scene can agree that eFootball was a disaster of a launch, especially. It may get better over time, and there is potential, but the launch was awful. And let's get into the actual game here, and sadly, I would prefer it if they... So, with this, you could tell they've not got the actual mod of the real-life camera angle. So, with PES, you can get a mod that, with certain stadiums, that it is as if you're watching it from the actual stadium on TV, on Sky Sports or BT Sports, of whether the angle of the camera is, it looks like a real-life televised event. Of course, with here, it is like a traditional, you know, from above view of the pitch, which is a good view, but you can't really see what's around you as well as what you would if you had it a bit more lowered down the angle. Let's go and actually see a goal here. So from a throw in here, you can see the emphasis on the throw there. You can see the difference. Kessie gets a through ball in to Rebic. Then it's Theo Hernandez across body, and that is 1-0 to AC Milan there. And I don't know if I prefer. I think I do prefer the player celebrations. I think I do. I think I prefer it to be a lot more. I like the angles they have a lot more than FIFA. It looks a lot more realistic to me, the celebrations. He's just on side there. You can see he actually timed his run, so that's quite intelligent there. And of course, there's tons of different teams. So we've got here Fulham versus Chelsea. Of course, this is off PES 2021, so it's got the kits from last season's here, because this was from last year's game. I don't think this is possible on eFootball yet, because eFootball, they're so far behind the actual launch that is kind of ruining it for mods. There's just not enough in the game. They've literally not got the teams in the game, you know, that they can even possibly mod. Like, Fulham aren't even on the game, or Burnley, or anyone else. It's just a select 12 teams, or whoever they are. It's so frustrating. You can have a look at the player faces, the models. I think they've done a decent job here as well. And of course, I did this as well, but you can actually change what type of in-game scoreboard you want. So if you want BT Sports, you can pick BT Sport. You want ESPN, you can pick ESPN. You want Sky Sports scoreboards, you can pick that. You can also decide what kind of ads you want on the actual ad boards, if you want realistic to the actual club ad boards, or if you want different type of ones like a Champions League ad board, so on and so forth here. And this is footage with a very low down camera angle, and I love this camera angle. I think this is sick. I always enjoy playing football as if you low down on the pitch, you can see the stadium around, and it makes it seem a lot more realistic to me than if you're just far above. To some people, it could look very slow. It could look like it's just too sluggish, the turns. Like, then they may say, okay, that looks a bit too poor, but I just know I enjoy passing the ball around on PES. I enjoy switching the play. I think that it's a lot more enjoyable just to watch the ball to kind of float and glide across the sky, and how the ball rolls across the pitch, I think is quite enjoyable. In top right, I got Sky Sports Premier League Live, which I think is awesome. And there's a goal here from Fulham, and it's cut inside by number 19. I think that's Luckman actually, who shoots, and it's in the back of the net. And I think that looks amazing. The fans in the background, they're reactionary to it, that they react to it like a real life football stadium. And I believe also, like, when like a player goes through on goal, you can hear the crowd kind of rise in tension. You can feel it go up in the atmosphere, and that's very effective. And what a shot that is there. Just the way how that reacts with the net and the actual netting, I just think looks amazing. Of course, we've got to go to the Bundesliga. We've got Dortmund versus RB Leipzig. And here we go in the stadium as well. Let's see what it looks like on the pitch. And here you go. Again, with a much better camera angle. It looks a lot more realistic to what you get in an actual game on ESPN Plus of the Bundesliga game here. And again, you could just, I could talk forever, but I think this is the best realistic football experience. There's many videos as well by a guy called Knight MD as well, and I think a guy called True Brit. These two are very like big in the PES world, and for the realism, Knight MD especially is like the main guy who does these awesome mods. If you are interested of like trying to do this with your PC, if you have a PC that you think is good enough to actually do this, then that is the guy to contact. Now, one weird thing as well, I've just realised, if I can actually see the fans, like, it's actually cut as if you're inside the stadium watching the game. I'm looking at how the players actually move in their shape, and I think it looks pretty spot on. It doesn't look too robotic. Like in FIFA, it looks like, oh, bro, how he hit that ball then? Posted with a goal for RB Leipzig, but the way that just kind of, I don't know, the way he shot that looks just so different to what I see in FIFA, the way how just the ball kind of like dipped, almost in a way knuckleballed, kind of downwards. I don't see that in FIFA. I think that's really smart, that. I was going to say the actual back line, it looks like it's actually like a normal back line. Now, that is quite poor defending now of Hummels. Maybe that's poor defending of himself. Maybe he rushed out too much and just couldn't get the ball. I don't know if that, I don't know what your thoughts on that is. Is that just poor from Hummels? People would say that he should be locked onto that. Like, that's the game's fault for not locking on. Give me your thoughts on that. For me, I mean, if you get the AI and if you are rushing at your defender, I think that could be seen as your mistake. It depends on what he really did for his inputs. And at this stage, I'm just giving you more and more examples. We're here at the Santiago Bernabeu in the Champions League. Real Madrid versus Chelsea. I guess they're going too far for the mods here, but we're in the tunnel here at the Santiago Bernabeu. And of course, we can see the actual, in real life, ultra flags. I can see that right there, the ultra typhos that you can actually mod on as well. The players taking a photo there, and of course, the Champions League UI as well. Let's get into the game. And again, the one thing I'll say with PES as well, that from a distance it looks spot on. Just when you look in and you properly like zoom in, you can kind of tell with the contrasting that it looks like a video game. But again, I think this looks amazing. I don't think there's much more that I can really say other than just you just looking at this. Like, just appreciate this. For me, I think this is such a massive improvement compared to FIFA. And if you go, that is a goal for Chelsea. And you can also hear the commentary as well. Kai Havertz with a goal for Chelsea right there. And his model of his face looks, again, like it looks strange when you zoom in, but from far away it looks good. So there you go, lads. That for me is the most realistic football experience that you can get. If you can, just go and attempt to mod PES 2021, get it on PC. Trust me, the console experience for me just isn't worth it. And if you can, I mean, even I've been able to mod it. I've done a video on it myself. It is possible. If I could do it, you can do it. Try it out. I think anyone that wants, say, that plays career mode especially, or even plays maybe Football Manager, I think that you would enjoy this, because for me, it's a much more satisfying football experience. And when you do it right, with the right scoreboards and stadiums and little tiny gameplay mods you can make and cameras, I think that it is just so immersive, and I think people really enjoy it. So this for me is the most realistic football experience that you could possibly get, and tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll see you guys next time for another video, and yeah, lads, stay safe.